Hello guys, today I will tell you the short story elements for analysis in this video. First of all, the question occurs, what is a short story? A brief fictional prose narrative often involving one connected episode. Creates unity of effect. True to our emotions, accurately reflects life lived by all of us, remembers is still fiction. So these are the points that tells us what is a short story, unity of effect, and connected episodes. From these words, you're gonna understand that the short story is connected from one point to another point to that point to another point. It's like that the stories are connected from one thing to another thing, from one emotion to another emotion, and that's all emotions are true to our emotion, that we are also facing that all emotions in our life accurately reflects life lived by all of us, and those emotions are those emotions that we are living in our life, and which tells us realism. Remember, it's still fiction, but still we have to remember that it's all fiction. What do we mean by elements? That's the second question of the short story elements for analysis. What do we mean by elements? Means of analyzing fiction, breaking it down to its part, help us to evaluate its unity of effect, help us making meaning from the story. After reading this all the elements, we're gonna know that we will evaluate the story. We're gonna know what things are happening in that story. We're gonna analyze the things that's happening in that story, the unity of effect, what effect is happening after being unity of effect, what effect is happening in that story that help us to make meaning, so that after watching or listening that story, we're gonna make another story, we're gonna analyze in our own mind. By breaking it down into this part means we'll in our mind we'll segregate the parts, one part to another to third one, like a fourth one, like this we will segregate the parts. After that, plot. The third question or the point of the short story elements for analysis is plot. Series of events related to a central conflict, climax, turning point, denouement, resolution, conflict, rise in action, exposition. Means whenever we will make a story, first of all, we will create a plot. For example, if we are gonna make a house or we're gonna build a house for construction, first of all, we're gonna need a plot, a place, a plain place, like that. So, for even for short story, the thing is the same. We will make a plot. First of all, the series of events related to a central conflict climax. There will be a conflict versus, like conflict between a man versus nature, man versus another man, woman versus man, conflict like earth versus sky, like this. A conflict will be there in every story. There will be a conflict or climax. A conflict would be there in every short story. So that will be the turning point. That will be the denouement. The story will go from, it will rise from the lower point, it will rise to the higher point, and then it will come down again. That's called denouement and resolution conflict. And at last, the problem will be solved. First, there would be a problem, there would be a conflict. At last, the problem will be solved, and that solved problem is called a resolution conflict, rise in action, exposition. The fourth point is the character. Action of plot is performed by character. Character not always aware. Why they act as they do, awareness not always accurate, reader may know before character. Now, after plot, we'll talk about character. In every short story, there are after plot, there are characters. In every stories, there are characters. So, in character, what happened? Action of plot is performed by character. All those action that is written in plot by the writer is performed by who? That performed by character. Character not always aware. Character is never ever aware what is going to be happen next. Why they act as they do. When the reader or the watcher, or someone watching the story, or someone is reading a story, the reader will say why they're doing like that, why the character is doing like this, because we're seeing from out of that world, we're watching from the mirror, so we know what's happening. So we'll say why the character is doing like this. If he will do like this, it will become wrong. No, the person should have not to be like this. So we will say no, 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 you are doing wrong. From our own mind, in our own mind we're gonna say like that, but the character is not saying anything, the character is not thinking anything, the character is doing what the writer is saying, what the writer has already wrote in that story. Awareness not always accurate. The character have no awareness, or only the awareness he knows by given by the writer. Reader may not know before character, reader may know before character, and we are the readers, so we're gonna know what's happening, and what will happen if the character will do like this. We know what is going to be happen, but the character will never be aware of what is going to be happen next.